Little did they know that this was only the beginning of their adventure.
Introduction: the night was dark and the stars were out, but the small town of Westville was particularly silent, as if something sinister was lurking in the shadows.
The friends were now filled with a different kind of dread, and they quickly ran back to the abandoned house for safety.
As they reached the door, the growling sound stopped and the words were once again silent. The friends were now even more confused. What could have made that sound? Was it an animal or something else? They decided to investigate further and ventured into the woods, determined to find out the source of the mysterious sound. The friends cautiously stepped into the woods, their eyes darting around in search of any sign of movement.
They soon came across a small clearing, and at the center of the clearing was an old, dilapidated cabin. The windows were boarded up, and the door was locked shut, but the friends could still hear the low rumbling coming from inside.
Cautiously, they made their way to the cabin and peered through a crack in the window. Inside, they could see a figure hunched over a table, illuminated by a single candle.
The figure was wearing a long black coat and a wide-brimmed hat, and it was muttering something under its breath. Three brave friends decided to investigate the source of the eerie sound coming from the old abandoned house at the edge of town, and when they slowly opened the door, they were met with an eerie sight. The friends were filled with a sense of dread and curiosity, and they knew they had to investigate further.
They slowly opened the door and stepped inside, and the figure suddenly turned to face them. The friends were shocked to discover that the figure was not a person, but a large stuffed bear. The bear was placed there by the owner of the house years ago to guard the property.
The friends were relieved to find the source of the eerie sound, and the mysterious figure was nothing more than a harmless stuffed bear.
They laughed at themselves for being so scared and continued on their way, thankful that their fears were unfounded. But as they were about to leave, they noticed something unexpected. On the other side of the room, tucked away in the corner, was a large wooden chest.
The chest was covered in dust and cobwebs, and it seemed to have been there for years. The friends were filled with curiosity, and they knew they had to investigate further.
A figure was crouched in the corner, illuminated by the pale moonlight. Relief and laughter, the friends hesitantly approached the chest, unsure of what they would find. As they opened the lid, they were met with a familiar sight, a large stuffed bear, illuminated by the moonlight. The friends couldn't help but laugh, relieved that the source of the eerie sound and the mysterious figure was nothing more than a harmless stuffed bear. They took a moment to appreciate the silliness of the situation before them, and their laughter echoed through the night.
After a few moments, the friends decided to take the bear with them, as a reminder of the adventure they had just gone on.
With the bear in tow, the friends continued on their way, thankful that their fears were unfounded. As they walked away, the moonlight glimmered on the bear's soft fur, and the friends couldn't help but feel a sense of peace. They knew that the bear was a symbol of their bravery, and a reminder that even in the darkest of nights, courage can be found. Conclusion: the friends returned to town with the bear in tow, and the story of their adventure quickly spread through Westville.
The townspeople were amazed by the bravery of the three friends, and the bear soon became a symbol of courage and hope.
Filled with dread, the friends expected the worst. The bear was placed in the center of town, where it stood as a reminder to all of the power of friendship and courage in the face of fear. The friends had proven that even in the darkest of nights, courage can be found. And so, the story of the brave friends and their stuffed bear became a timeless reminder of the power of courage and friendship. And the friends But their fears were soon put to rest when they discovered the figure was nothing more than a large stuffed bear, placed there by the owner of the house years ago to guard the property.
Relieved to find the source of the eerie sound, the friends laughed at themselves for being so scared, and continued on their way, thankful that their fears were unfounded. Little did they know that this was only the beginning of their adventure.
As they walked away from the abandoned house, they heard a strange noise coming from the woods nearby. It sounded like a low, rumbling growl, and it seemed to be getting closer.